What is my number one tip to succeed in the challenge? I would say my number one tip is not to be a bare minimum participant. If you get the homework and you see that it's 9 hours of cardio, like 6 classes, and you've knocked that out by Wednesday and you think that you're going to rest until the next week, then you probably won't see the results you want to see. It's great to accomplish all of your goals early, but be the person who pushes to build a further.
Support system. Make sure you have someone you can call when you're feeling down or you're frustrated or you feel like you can't do it. So it's really important to get to know other people in the challenge so you can have somebody to lean on and help you out when you're getting down or discouraged.
My number one tip to succeed in the challenge is to really establish a strong support system, a group of people that will help you get to the finish line, because I think doing these challenges is not only challenge physically but also mentally, and it's very important to be strong mentally. And if you feel like you're gonna give up, if you feel like you're gonna give up, your support system there should be helping you and encouraging you throughout the process.
My number one tip to succeed in the challenge would definitely be planning out your week and staying around like-minded people, not letting other people discourage you, and making sure that you have some accountability partners around you at all times.
My number one tip would be to trust the process. Well, 2 tips. Trust the process and not make excuses. You can make an excuse for almost anything, reasons why you can't do something, why you feel like you're not strong enough to do something, why you feel like you don't have time. But at the end of the day, you cannot make excuses. You will not be successful in the challenge if you make excuses.
The most challenging part of the challenge is definitely the eating, because you're accustomed to eating a certain way. For instance, I love cookies, and so having to not eat those and stick to the meal plan is the most challenging part. But meal prepping will help you beyond eating any other method, just meal prep.
I would say the most challenging part is planning around your new schedule, because the challenge does require a lot of time, and you're going to have to adjust your lifestyle to all of the requirements that you have to do for the challenge. So finding balance is the most challenging thing for me.
So I think the most challenging part for me of the 30-day challenge was the eating, especially on the weekends, because you have family and friends and everybody's enjoying themselves, and you got to really stick to your diet.
Watching your body begin to adjust and change, and being very, 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 very critical of it. So you really have to trust the process and trust the changes, and keep in mind that end goal, because it's not always easy, especially if you've never seen your body look a certain way, to automatically accept those changes in the way that it looks.
The most challenging part of the challenge for me was definitely time management, trying to make sure that I can get all my hours in, and all my cardio hours, all my class hours, as well as balance my family and work and just life in general all together with and trying to be successful.
The most challenging part about the challenges are balancing out my work, and I was going to grad school during my first couple challenges, so really balancing working out and my work and school schedule. What I did to kind of help me throughout the process is really plan out my days, and try to find time between studying and staying after work to do some cardio.
I plan my week out first. On Sundays, I would sit down and meal prep. I made sure I had all my breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything that I needed, because if you do not plan, you definitely plan to fail. Then I also write out my schedule for the week, and I try to stick as close to that schedule as possible, meaning my classes, because I knew what times I got off on certain days, so knowing what classes I would attend, knowing what cardio I would do. And then I would also try to have everything done at least 2 days before, so therefore if I didn't have it on Saturday and Sunday, those were my days to make sure I got everything in.
Well, when we get our homework and our meals, the first thing I do is look at my work schedule, because I have meetings throughout the day, or sometimes I'll have to, if I'm working on a project at work, I'll have to work long hours outside of work, or when I was in grad school I had to see what I had due that week or the next couple weeks, and so I would look at those two schedules as well as my homework for the challenges and kind of figure out at what times I needed to do what, and I really worked around work, school, and the homework schedule.
Based everything around my BIB schedule. I knew that during the challenge I pick up extra BIB classes, so I would count my BIB and then I would try to figure out how many classes I would have to do during the week to meet my homework requirements, and try to do an extra 3 classes so I could have that extra strength training. And then I would plan my cardio around BIB as well. I knew that if it was a leg day, it was not a good day to do sprints because I wouldn't have made it. So I tried to do like intervals on the treadmill instead of running on an incline, or I'll do the bayou on a leg day. Just kind of balancing around the classes.
When I did my first 30-day challenge, we had accountability partners, so we kind of mapped out like what we would do in order to get the required hours. So we kind of, we both started with a plan and just come in and knock it out and track it. We would send each other messages. I did this, I did that. So that actually helped with the planning. Having that accountability partner, so somebody pushing you. Did you do this? Did you do that? So that actually helps you get through it, and before you know it, that week's done, and then you at the end. But the accountability partner was really what helps with the planning throughout the challenge.
So what I normally did was I started with what were my most available days, and then I would front load those to try to get a jump start, because I knew there would be certain days that I really couldn't get a lot in. So like Monday, Tuesdays is where I tried to really add it up and then pace myself from there.
How did I plan my week with the challenges? Well, first, when I would receive my homework, I would actually go through and make a list of what I planned to do every day. So whether that was classes or it was a certain type of cardio, I would actually make a list, like a checklist of things that I needed to do on that particular day. And I knew certain things I had to do certain days. I knew that in order to go to like Monday and Wednesday 6 a.m., then those would be my days that I would for sure do my fasted cardio. And if I had, my afternoon BIABs, I knew that those would be the days that I would for sure finish up cardio in-house. And then I would plan to go to 24-hour or go wherever else to do my outside cardio. But I literally would make a checklist every day of the things I needed to do, and I wouldn't stop until I checked it off. So sometimes it was 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning, but my day wasn't finished until I hit everything on that checklist.
Okay, the way I would plan my week out is I would receive the homework, and so I would write down which classes I would do and what time I would do my cardio, and so that way I had a plan as far as how to get that done. And then again, meal prepping, making sure I do that every Sunday, or order food, or whatever, but pretty much writing down everything I need to do for the week, and that helped keep me on track.
When I fell off my meal plan, I would honestly do a lot of cardio. I was always doing a lot of cardio, but I would do even more cardio. And the other thing was I was honest about it, and I owned it. So for the most part, if I fell off and I knew I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to do, I would go ahead and let my trainer know. So
what I did if I fell off my nutrition plan, first of all, was I was honest. If I went out and had a meal I wasn't supposed to have, I definitely did tell Reggie, because I didn't want him to be looking at me crazy when it was time for me to do stats. Then I tried to make up for that and make sure that I did extra cardio and went above and beyond to try to make up for that meal that I had. And then also quickly got back on. I didn't give myself any longer than a day to quote unquote fall off.
If I fell off my nutrition plan, well, first I would run from stat day and try to get my life right before we did stats again. But most of the time I would get back in and do extra cardio, sit in the sauna, wear my sauna suit, and then I weighed myself quite a bit at home too, just so, like, one of the things we learned was instead of waiting like weeks to weigh yourself, like to weigh yourself a day or two, or in the day that you ate the food, so you could see the difference that it made.
Intensity cardio. I knew that if I, cheated a little bit, I needed to step my cardio game up, first acknowledge that, hey, I fell off today. Okay, so instead of doing 12 hours that's required this week, I know I need to do 16 because I know I messed up. So, and it needs to be high intensity cardio. It can't be, let's do 2 hours at the bar. You know, it has to burn.
My recommendation for somebody doing the challenge the first time is to fully invest in yourself. Like, one of the things I did is I said, okay, I'm only gonna have one goal for this 30 days, and I put everything against it, and I said, what's more important? So every day I chose me, and I committed to making sure I was gonna accomplish whatever I needed to do for the 30-day challenge, and I had great results.
Is to make sure that your headspace and your mental space is exactly where it needs to be at. It's one of those things where you can't be halfway in and halfway out, because if you are, then you're going to have halfway results. You're going to be upset, and the only person that you can really blame is yourself. So you have to be all in, and by all in, that means if you get homework, if you get special assignments, all in. You need to complete all of the homework, complete all of the assignments. Sometimes your success will mean going above and beyond what any of that is, but that's just a part of being all in. You have to be all in.
My recommendation for someone who's doing a challenge for the first time is to always think of your goal from the start, and not to listen to other people who think they know what's best for your life, because at the end of the day, you are the only person that knows what's best for you. And I would say just keep on going with your goal and to not give up. These challenges are really hard mentally and physically, but they're very possible as long as you stay strong and not listen to the negativity.
The recommendations that I would have for someone doing the challenge for the first time is to be prepared to commit yourself. Be prepared to spend time at the gym. Be prepared to spend time away from your family and your children. And be prepared to mentally give your all to this challenge. It is not just going to be you coming to work out for an hour and going home. It is a 24/7 job, and it's definitely going to be worth it, but you have to be prepared to dedicate yourself and your time, and you also need to make sure that you get your family on board and let them know what you're on taking for the next 30 days prior to you just jumping into it.
My recommendations for people doing a challenge for the first time is, again, get you a support system, someone you can call and talk to whenever you're discouraged. And just don't give up. I promise you, you can do it. As soon as you think you're about to give up, you're not. It's just your mind and your body trying to keep you where you are, and that's not what you want. So just keep pushing. You can do it.
You need to be realistic. Every week won't be a great week. You're going to see great results the first week because you're shocking your body, but you know you're going to slow down. So stay encouraged and be mindful that your body is still working hard, and you might not hit the goal you wanted to this Friday, but that doesn't mean that the goal will not be fulfilled. Maybe it's going to take you to Tuesday instead of Friday. Just stay encouraged on this journey.
How did I balance my hours with my lifestyle? There was no balance. I just did my hours. There was no life. I wanted my results more than I wanted to hang out. So I made that sacrifice and I did the hours instead.
The way I balanced my hours required with my lifestyle was I planned it out. Like I said, on Sundays, I planned my days out. And also, I made sure that I did my morning cardio, my fasted cardio. So in the mornings, I would get as much done as I could possibly get done. And then in the afternoon, I could try to be home to my family as early as possible. Also, I included my children with that. So I worked out with my daughter on the weekends, try to also help get my hours in as well by spending some time with her. That's how I balance things.
I knew that on certain days I would have to do more in the morning and on other days I would have to do more in the evening, and it worked well for me to kind of try to split the requirements up. So if you can wake up, if you have a lot of cardio to do in a week, if you can wake up some mornings and just knock like an hour or an hour and a half to shave that time off of whatever you have to do in the evenings, then that really works. But to be completely honest, it really is hard to balance, and it goes back to making no excuses. There are going to be some days you might have a meeting, or you might just be so exhausted from the night before that you don't wake up to do your fasted cardio, or you don't wake up to shave that time off. So that's going to mean some late nights. So just keep that in mind. If you don't balance well, then you can expect a lot of late nights, and even if you do, that's what you have to do to get it done.
How did I balance the challenge hours with my lifestyle? Well, at first it was really hard because I was in grad school and also working a stressful full-time job, and my boss would expect me to stay long hours, over 40 hours a week. So in the beginning it was a challenge, and also, you know, balancing the homework that we have to do in the cardio hours and class hours. I think the best thing that I did was really just plan out my week, looking at my work schedule, looking at my school schedule, and making realistic goals for myself, and also pushing myself to do these hours. You know, sometimes I would feel tired after school or after work when I didn't want to do anything, but I knew that in order to achieve the goal that I had for my body, I needed to put in those hours. So sometimes I would stay at school until about 10 p.m., but I needed to get my cardio done, so I would just go straight to 24-hour fitness after my class and get the cardio hours in. So just finding the time and really setting a schedule that works for you.
That was easy. I had to change up my whole lifestyle. You know, generally I go to work, I go home, you know, do some grading, you know, watch a little television. All of that is shifted to working out, because realistically you have 12, 13 hours a day that you are active, and it seems like a lot to go to the gym for 3 or 4 hours, but when I looked at what I was doing before the challenge, okay, I would spend 3 hours at home just kind of prepping around, doing laundry. Now I do all of my cardio first, and everything else that needs to be done, I kind of plan ahead and schedule everything around my workout. Everything now is scheduled around my workout versus scheduling my workout around everything else.
Some things you shouldn't do during the challenge is pay attention to everyone else. We're all a family here, and we're all a team here, but you have to be concerned about your results, and you have to be concerned about yourself. You can't look to your left and your right and be upset because such and such is losing this amount of body fat, or such and such is losing this amount of weight, and you don't feel like that's happening for you, because your process and your body type is going to be different than everyone else's. So what you absolutely shouldn't do during a challenge is worry about anybody but yourself.
Some things you shouldn't do while you're on a challenge. Drink. Don't do that. Stay out late. I would not encourage that. I wouldn't say isolate yourself, but if you know that you can't control yourself, you know, you may need to not be out on the scene with your friends because they don't have the same goals as you. So just make sure you keep yourself around like-minded people. So yeah.
Some of the things you shouldn't do during the challenge. Number one, don't listen to the naysayers, the ones that, you know, your friends that kind of encourage you but give you that discouragement at the same time, like, oh girl, you're doing good, but you know, are you going to keep this up? Can you realistically, you know, keep this lifestyle? Because you're going to get a lot of those people who are kind of not necessarily jealous, but they see you doing something that they know they should be doing, so they try to project their feelings off on you. So please don't pay attention to that, because you're going to get a lot of that from people that you wouldn't have necessarily believed, your family, your friends. Number two, do not get stuck with this low impact cardio. You cannot see results if you walk the bayou every day and that's your cardio. That's a no-no. You need to switch up your cardio, and you have to make it high intense. You have to go to those high intense classes. Yes, Zumba is great. It's going to burn some calories, but you can't do Zumba every Tuesday and Thursday and those be your classes. No, sometimes you need to do derriere. Sometimes you need to go to that fat burning 5:30 class. I know it's not as fun as Zumba, but you need to change up. Your body needs to be shocked.
Some of the things that you should not do during the challenge is try to continue to go out and party and thinking that you're going to have self-control. Try to continue to go to these birthday dinners and birthday parties with your friends and thinking you're going to just be able to sit back. You will be tempted, and you do not have that self-control just yet, especially if it's your first time. Just say no. Let your family and friends know what you have going on, and just simply say no. And also, I would definitely recommend that you prep your food. Don't try to go day to day. Prep your things so therefore you're always ready. You always have your meals with you. Do not ever just try to wing it.
I think one of the things that you shouldn't do during the challenge is to, I guess, let the negativity get to you. Or if you feel like you need a break, I think it's okay to maybe take one day off if you really need the rest, but then I wouldn't prolong it after one day and go hard the next day. I think it's important to, get your rest up and you get your strength up, but doing more than one day of rest is just, you get lazy. So I wouldn't prolong that.
Initially, when I first started my first 30-day challenge, I did a lot of incline. That helped to burn a lot of fat. As my body got slimmer and I got stronger, I needed to incorporate sprints, and sprints started to really help me, form my legs, and started getting the body fat off faster than the incline because my body had adjusted to incline. Once my body adjusted to incline, I needed to do more on the Stairmaster. Stairmaster has been phenomenal with helping me keep the weight off and, constantly burning body fat. It's all about changing up the cardio. Can't be stuck in one form of cardio.
Get the Stairmaster and the incline, but the sprints work. And I say that I hate but they work. They work.
The forms of cardio that I saw work best for my body actually were the cardio that I hated the most, which is sprints. Although it's not something that I like to do, it worked. If I came in and I did sprints every day, at the end of the week I actually saw some really good results. Anything high intensity. I used to try, when I first started my first challenge, I did a lot of walking around that bayou. That didn't do a lot for me because my heart rate wasn't getting up. I was not sweating how I needed to. So definitely doing some high intensity cardio is going to be the best. So that Stairmaster, those sprints, and walking on the treadmill on an incline is going to be the best thing.
The forms of cardio that worked for me were the darn Stairmaster. I hate it, but it does wonders. And then I like to jog outside in my sauna suit. So you sweat a lot, and you're outside, you're in nature. And then the elliptical machine. Those work best for me.
I think that the forms of cardio that began to work well for me changed as my body changed. When I was a little bit bigger than treadmill, incline. At 15, walking between 3.0 to 3.5 helped me to lose a lot of pounds. But as I started to need to lose more body fat than pounds, then I would say the Stairmaster definitely helped. The Stairmaster also definitely helped me develop my legs. I love my legs now, and I, attribute that to the Stairmaster. Also, if you're going to get on a machine, whether it's the treadmill or the Stairmaster, try to add in a couple of different compound movements, like some glute kickbacks, some step overs, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. And sprints work wonders as well, and burning body fat and really, really getting my waist to come through. And lastly, you cannot sleep on the rower. I want to say that was probably the most integral part to my back really starting to come through. I'd never seen it look like that, and it's because I literally rode every day. Rowing is a form of cardio. It's a great form of cardio. You burn a lot of calories and you really work your back and your shoulders. If you want that real feminine kind of sexy back, then the rower's for you.
I've had to find different types of cardio that work. Some weeks, some work, some others don't work. But the best I felt that worked for me personally is long distance running. For me, that I felt I've lost the most weight by going long hours doing cardio, running a longer distance for up to 45 minutes or an hour. Also kind of doing a combination of sprints. So one day I'll do long distance running, the next day I'll do a couple sprints, and then maybe 30 minutes on the elliptical. And so that's really helped me.